Welcome to News Today. Coming up, acting national coordinator of the Computer School Selection Placement System indicates no secondary school head has the right to deny admission to legally placed students. Also ahead, survey reports only 1.9% of economically active population is unemployed. On the foreign front to come, the African Union condemns attempts to undermine peace, stability and development in Mozambique. I am Kemini Nyamani Amano. I'll bring you details of these stories and plenty more in a moment. For staying on Joy News, this is News Today. Some heads of especially endowed schools in the Central Regional Capital, Cape Coast, say they cannot admit students simply because they have been allocated to their schools by the computerized placement system of the Ghana Education Service. Parents and guardians of school leavers who are stranded as a result are having to go around in search of admissions for the awards. Though the Education Ministry recently warned school heads against rejecting students allocated to them, the headmasters have advanced a number of reasons, such as the school's own standards and request protocol admissions. They say do not allow them to admit all the students allocated.
It is that time of the year when parents and guardians of JHS leavers try to get the awards admission in the various senior high schools so they can further their education. Ideally, the scores of parents who have trooped to Cape Coast to confirm the awards admissions should not have a problem because of the computerized school placement system, which automatically places JHS leavers in the schools. Deputy Minister of Education Alex Cherme only recently sounded a warning to difficult headmasters. But the heads of especially the well-endowed schools say they can no longer accept automatic placement from the computerized program. The headmaster of Infantsipim School, Kwame Meza Eja, explains the CSSPS has given the school more students than the places available, adding the school standard risk being compromised.
The school will have to do its selection. In the sense that we have standards. I don't think the standard in Infantsipim could be compared to Teloko Bukazo Senior High standard. They are two different things. So they can do their placement. But if the placement too has been done according to the number that we requested for, we wouldn't have been experiencing these problems. What is even more disturbing is that you get protocol lists from so many quarters. Can you say that you are going to reject everything, knowing very well that they are the same people or establishment that you go for help whenever you are in need of?
The parents whose wards have been affected by the refusal of headmasters to admit them have been expressing their frustrations. Though they would not want to speak on camera, they say the Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service would have to intervene if the CSSPS placements are no longer automatic. The headmaster of Infantsipim School is, however, urging the parents to exercise some restraint over the matter.
So when these things happen, if you don't take care, you bloat the numbers and to create this many problems for yourself and then so many and other things. So you are being guided by certain principles and conditions in the school to help. If Infantsipim can take 3,000 students, why not? But the whole time we cannot take it. So when we are considering this thing, it cannot be that it is meant for very excellent students throughout. No, we reserve some for the catchment area people and then other people.
Richard Kujinyako filed this report from the Central Region.
Meanwhile, acting national coordinator of the computerized school placement system says no secondary school head has the right to deny admission to a student whose name is found on the official list released by his outfit. Georgia Tabuatin says once the student qualifies and is duly placed in a particular institution, he must be admitted. I spoke with him earlier today. Let's have a playback.
If a student has this problem, then the student has to come to us. We will cross-check the official list that we send to the schools. And if the name is there, then the student will go to the school. When they go and they do not find their names there, they should come to the secretariat. We have the official list there. We will cross-check, and if their names are there, they'll go back. There is nothing like protocol admission. Every student that has been admitted to a particular school has been put there based on merit. And merit, we take into consideration the 30% placement and the 70% placement. From our end, we might think that maybe the printout, was cut at some point. But if we cross-check with the official list in our system and the name is there, the person is sent back to the school.
After years of legal battle, threats of self-government and several assurances from the government and the Electoral Commission, the people of Lower Manya Krobo will on December 3, 2013 have the opportunity to elect their district assembly and unit committee members. The EC fulfilled promises it had made that it would organize the elections immediately. Resources were made available to it by the government treasury. According to a letter signed by Deputy Chairman of the EC, Ahmadu Sule, a copy of which was made available to us, nominations for the district assembly elections would take place at the electoral area centers on Wednesday, October 30, 2013. It goes on to say the nominations for the unit committee elections will take place on Thursday, October 31, 2013 at the same venues where nominations for the assembly election would also take place. It urged candidates to attach to make available all documents to complete their nomination forms. Qualified individuals interested in contesting the said elections may obtain nomination forms from the deputy returning officers. Turn attention to Boko now, and the recent shooting incident in the area in the Upper East region of Ghana led to the death of 2 persons. This prompted an increase in security in the town. The first of the incidents occurred at Sagabo, where a young man who was chatting with his girlfriend was shot dead. 2 others were injured. The second death was at Poshum. Consequently, the Upper East Regional Minister Alhaji Mohammed Muniru visited the town on Tuesday to assess the security measures. Alhaji Mohammed Muniru has joined me over the telephone now. Let's find out what his assessment of the security area was when he visited on Tuesday. Hello, Alhaji.
Yes.
Many thanks for your time. We understand you're assessing security in Boko. Well, what can you tell us?
Yeah, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Actually, when the incidents occurred, we called a regional RECSEC meeting, that's the Regional Security Committee meeting, just to take an update and assess the situation. So we agreed that we move to the scene and assess the security situation. But before then, we had asked both the military and the police to step up their patrols, both mobile and what they call it, walk patrols. So they had stepped up the patrols. But what we decided was that in order not to allow people to link it up to the ethnic conflict, we decided to go and talk to members of the community that those shooting incidents occurred. So we had to go there to assess the situation. When we got to Boku, it was actually calm. People were going on with their normal businesses, but we had a discussion with the members of the leaders and the youth of the community that the shooting incidents occurred, and just to address issues, to let them know that they should consider it as a criminal act,
right?
So that they can allow the police to do their investigation. so that they don't link it up to the protracted ethnic conflict. Because the moment they do that, then we lose our track. So we had a fruitful discussion with them. They have promised us to exercise restraint and allow the security agencies to go into the matters and unravel the perpetrators so that we can bring them to book.
When our correspondent spoke to one of the bereaved families, it was clear that, just like you said, they believe strongly that it's related to the ethnic wars they have over there. What's the convincing factor here that's making us believe that really this is not linked to the factions we have over there?
Yeah, because preliminary investigation revealed that there was some deal between some two parties.
Right.
And that is what the police is narrowing down to see how they can unravel this. And you realize that for now, we wouldn't be able to tell who was the gunman. Was the gunman a Moshi? Was he a Kusasi? Was it? You can't tell for now. And if you look at the whole thing, we were told that these guys have some trade among themselves, and the other party wanted to cheat them. So in any case, they went there. They earlier on threatening that if he doesn't give out the money, this is what they will do to him. So because of that, fortunately, he's owned up. The name that came up during the criminal investigation has owned up and is helping police in their investigation.
So we've made some arrests.
This is what they don't want to hear, because if you say arrest as if he has done something criminal, then for now it's not criminal. It's a name that has come out. So be invited. Let me use the word. You've been invited by the police to assist in investigation. Because the moment they arrest, then our people think that why do you even come and arrest me when I haven't done it? So because the people shy away from giving information. So we don't want to be using such words to let them feel that the moment the police invite you to assist in the investigation means you've been arrested.
Right.
So for now, he's been invited to assist the police. And we didn't want to go into this to meddle with any investigation. One will allow them to do their good job, and at the end of the day, come out with the findings.
Right. Now, one died in Possum, and the two others in Sagabo. Are these two related? Are these two deaths related, or they're just isolated cases?
No, one only died. One died in Sabogo. Two were injured. I mean, one has been referred to.
But barely 24 hours after, there was another death recorded in Possum.
That was another shooting. That is a Saturday night. There was another shooting.
And yeah, the question I'm asking now is, the Possum death and the Sabogo death,
that's what I'm trying to say.
Are they linked?
The security are trying to link them. The investigations must bring all this thing out. We can't tell whether they were linked. Because if you look at it, unfortunately, the first death belonged to a particular tribe called the Moshi. The second one who died is also a Moshi. So we are now trying to unravel this, see whether it was linked. Is it that they were still looking for the guy? Because with the first shooting, they realized that they got the wrong person.
Right.
So it's possible that they were still looking for the right person and now got another wrong person.
In a sentence, how would you describe Boko at the moment?
No, currently it's very calm. Peaceful.
Right. Many thanks, Alhaji. Alhaji Mohammed Muniru is the Upper East Regional Minister. There's more news ahead. Don't go away. Welcome back. According to the latest Ghana Living Standard Survey Labor Force report, only about 1.9% of the economically active population is unemployed. The report says 75.7% of persons who are 15 years and above are economically active. The unemployment rate among 15 years and above is, however, higher in urban areas, about 3.7% more than rural areas. The jobless rate is also higher among females, 3.8% more than that of males. It is higher among the age group 15 to 24 compared with a 1.7% for the age group 25 to 44 years. A total of 21,554 persons were captured, of which 10,400 487 were men and 11,068 were women. With regard to the sector employment, 52% of persons who are 15 years and older are engaged in agriculture, forestry and fishing. It is followed by wholesale and retail trade with 15.9%. Then there is 46.8% of the employed persons who are self-employed without employees. On average, time spent on economic activities, an average of 37.3 hours was spent on all economic activities by persons 15 years and older during the 7 days preceding the interview. Interesting stuff there. But work has begun on the Centennial J, the vessel to be converted into an FPSO for Ghana's second oil field, the Trinidad, Enyira and Ntom or 10. The vessel, which arrived at the Jurong shipyard in Singapore, will undergo a similar fabrication process as the FPSO Kwame Nkrumah, currently in operation at the Jubilee field.
A corporate video made available to Joy News shows the Sentinel J being towed by tugboats into the Jurong shipyard, where over the next 2 years it will undergo the conversion process. Officials tell Joy News the outcome will be a facility similar in size to the FPSO Kwame Nkrumah, at a length of about 340 meters and a width of 56 meters. Its production capacity is, however, 80,000 barrels a day, 40,000 barrels less than the FPSO Kwame Nkrumah. The vessel is expected in Ghana in the last quarter of 2015 to be connected to the reservoir. It will require the drilling and completion of up to 24 development wells, which will be connected through subsea infrastructure to the FPSO. Government formally approved the plan of development for the 10 field in May this year, paving the way for Tullow and its partners to proceed with the development of the discoveries.
The Ghana Cocoa Board says cocoa from Ghana does not face imminent ban on the international markets. Cocoa from the West African nation allegedly contains high residue of pesticides, necessitating the purported ban threat. Chief Executive of Cocoa Board, Anthony Fofi, however, denied the report in a statement. Cocoa Board said in the statement that assured cocoa farmers and the general public that Ghana's cocoa does not face imminent ban on the international market. It goes on to say it places premium on the health of consumers of cocoa and therefore has put in place quality control mechanisms to ensure the country's cocoa is free from all foreign matters as well as chemicals. Government is planning to establish a 10 million Ghana Cedi Youth Enterprise Fund by the first quarter of next year to support youth entrepreneurs while creating job opportunities. At the Stakeholders Forum here in Accra, Minister of State in charge of Financial and Allied Institutions, Fifi Kwete, called on the youth to come up with viable and innovative business ideas to make the fund beneficial to them and the economy at large.
Government, in its quest to do away with the current challenge of youth unemployment, expressed its commitment earlier this year to put in place some structures in support of startups as well as youth entrepreneurs. One such is the Youth Jobs and Enterprise Development Fund, now Youth Enterprise Fund, which is to provide financing such as equity, debt, grants and loan guarantees to youth-owned enterprises. Stakeholders of the fund met in Accra to explore what the fund means for Ghanaian startups, the best innovative ways to make it work, and to review its concept paper. Fund managers explain, unlike other funds, the Youth Enterprise Fund will be managed efficiently and those assessing it will be made accountable.
For this fund, whatever monies you take would be registered with what we call the credit reference bureaus. That provision has been made for. For those of you who don't know what a credit reference bureau is, today if you go to the bank to take a loan, every bank is mandated by Bank of Ghana to register that loan with a credit reference bureau. So every bank knows if you don't pay, every bank in Ghana would know. So if you get the money and you misuse it, well, you are only endangering your own borrowing capacity in future.
Access to credit remains challenging for a number of small businesses, and for Kwabena Danso, a younger entrepreneur into bamboo bicycle production, the fund could not have come at a better time.
It's a great opportunity for young entrepreneurs like myself to also leverage and then be able to expand the scope of our operations. Initially, we talk in this country about not getting funds to implement our ideas, to not getting funds, but I think this fund is also blocked that problem so that people don't have the opportunity to complain. Now the fund is coming into existence. It's up to you to also do your best to also be able to access the fund.
Government, on the other hand, remains committed to the sustainability of the fund, but is worried about the lacking entrepreneurial culture.
I've always said, many times people claim the lack of finance is the reason why people are not able to succeed, especially private sector. I've always said it's not the truth. Lack of finance has not been a major bottleneck. The real bottleneck has been lack of a viable, creative idea driven by a passionate person who wants to see it to an end. And if you young people can accept that, then we are on a journey. Because I can tell you that a time will come where we can create far more funds. But to the extent that we have young people who continue having the mentality of their fathers and grandfathers, which is a dependent mentality. Dependent mentality, which simply feed me, do it for me. If that continues, this country, this continent is going nowhere.
It's not one of those things that is going to be a policy on paper. I am tired. In Ghana, we have policy on everything. We have solved all our problems on paper. You come to the ministries, all the ministries, they have policy on every single thing you can talk about, and they are still doing capacity building workshops, review, sensitization. I am tired. So we mean business, we are action oriented, and we want this thing to move, and there's no other person who can drive this than Fifi from the office of the president, and he has my full 100% support. And woe unto anyone who stands in our way because of their parochial and selfish interests. We will crush them.
The 10 million cedi fund will meanwhile receive contributions from the Consolidated Fund, EDIF, and other development partners such as GIZ.
You're watching News Today. I'll be back after this. The African Union sharply condemns any attempt by individuals or groups to undermine peace, stability and development in Mozambique. A spokesman, El Gassim Wing, says the continental body is closely monitoring security in the southern African country.
El Gassim Wayne comments came after the opposition Mozambican National Resistance Renamo group announced its decision to withdraw from a 21-year-old peace accord with the ruling Frelimo party that effectively ended the country's civil war. In a communique, the AU called for dialogue between President Armando Guebuza's government and the opposition Renamo to resolve differences that could lead to renewed conflict. Some analysts have expressed concern that an end to the agreement could signal a resumption of violence between the opposition and the government. Zimbabwe's Deputy Foreign Minister Christopher Muswanga on Wednesday also urged rebels in Mozambique not to fight after an opposition group with military and political wings withdrew from a 1992 peace deal. Mozambique's 1976 to 1992 civil war led to about 1 million deaths.
Let's stay on the continent, and a senior official of the Economic Community of West African States said while Friday's Heads of State Summit in Dakar will focus on the region's economy, it will also take up political and security crisis. This comes as ECOWAS President Keïta Desire Ouédraogo Wednesday called on the international community to send more troops to Mali in the wake of a recent upsurge of attacks by Islamist insurgents. ECOWAS Director for External Relations Abdel Fattah Musa said the security situation remains a top concern to the regional body, especially as the country prepares for next month's legislative elections. Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta, his trial date at the International Criminal Court is now less than 3 weeks away. His administration, with backing from the African Union, is lobbying for the case to be deferred. Kenyatta has been adept at turning the ICC charges against him from a potential blight on his career to a rallying cause for his supporters.
Accused of orchestrating violence after Kenya's 2007 presidential election that killed more than 1,100 people, Kenyatta has characterized the charges as a neo-colonialist attack on the country. Kenyatta's trial is due to begin November 12 at the ICC in The Hague, where the Deputy President, William Ruto, is currently attending proceedings in a separate but similar case against him. Kenya and the African Union have been lobbying the United Nations Security Council to have the case deferred for a year, citing concerns about security in Kenya and the region. The request follows September's terrorist siege on a Nairobi shopping mall attributed to the Somalia-based militant group Al-Shabaab. The argument is certain leaders cannot react and handle future security threats if they are out of the country for prolonged trials. Kenyatta and Ruto have cooperated with the court so far and have promised to continue to do so. The president won what appeared to be a minor victory last week when ICC judges ruled he would not have to appear in person for all of his trial, only for the opening and closing statements, judgments and when victims testify.
Germany has summoned the U.S. ambassador in Berlin over claims that the U.S. monitored German Chancellor Angela Merkel's mobile phone. Foreign Minister Westwell will meet U.S. envoy John Emerson later in what is seen as an unusual step between close allies. Merkel has demanded a complete explanation of the claims, which are threatening to overshadow an EU summit. She discussed the issue with U.S. President Barack Obama on Wednesday. The White House said President Obama told Merkel the U.S. was not monitoring her calls and would not in future. An American newspaper reports secret U.S. documents reveal that senior Pakistani government officials have for years known of and endorsed CIA drone strikes. The Washington Post obtained CIA documents and Pakistani diplomatic memos which indicate officials were routinely given classified briefings. Analysts have long suspected Pakistan gave tacit consent for such strikes despite publicly condemning them. Pakistan's Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif has urged U.S. President Obama to halt such attacks. The mission overseeing the dismantling of Syria's chemical weapons program is expecting the government to turn over a plan for destroying its existing stockpile. The destruction is the final phase of an agreement with the United Nations and the Organization for the Prevention of Chemical Weapons to rid Syria of chemical arms by the middle of next year. Syria has until Sunday to present the plan, but an OPCW spokesman says the mission expects to receive an initial document within 24 hours regarding how the government will destroy the weapons. OPCW inspectors have been to most of the production sites disclosed by Syria where crews are rendering the equipment inoperable. The group expressed confidence that Syria's capability to make any new weapons will be destroyed by November 1 deadline. That's it for the segment. Rashida Baba Kadiri comes up with sports after this.
Welcome to Sports on News today with me, Rashida Baba Kadiri. Let's begin straight from the stables of the UEFA Champions League matches that were played last night. Manchester United recorded a win. Real Madrid also got a win. But City also, of course, getting a win there, with Bayern Munich also recording a win. Let's catch highlights of the matches that were played last night.
Group D opponents CSKA Moscow and Manchester City. By contrast, Pilsen had lost both games, conceding 6 goals in the process, and were in danger of becoming the whipping boys of the group. The early indications were that that would indeed be the case, as Bayern came close on a number of occasions. Iron Robben was brought down in the area by Roman Hubnik, the referee pointing to the spot. Frank Ribery made no mistake with the penalty. Just 12 minutes later, Bayern doubled their lead thanks to a superb solo effort.
Got a shooting position now and scores! And this hugely talented 21-year-old Austrian international, David Alaba, gets his third goal of the season.
The Czech outfit kept Bayern at bay, limiting the damage to just 2 goals conceded by half-time. It took 15 minutes after the restart for Bayern to net their third, Ribery deceiving 2 defenders before beating goalkeeper Matis Kozacic. Just moments later, Bastian Schweinsteiger made it 4 as Bayern threatened to run away with things. However, they were content to sit on their 4-goal cushion, and despite going into cruise control, Pilsen could not get a single shot on target in the match. Bayern managed 1 more before full-time, courtesy of Mario Götze, putting the finishing touches on a comfortable 5-0 victory, cementing top spot in
Real Sociedad on Wednesday evening. Old Trafford would have wanted a strong start, and with Wayne Rooney heavily involved, they would get their wish.
Trying to wriggle a bit of shooting space! Oh, almost a stunning start, and turned in! An own goal!
It was all United in the opening exchanges. This time Rooney kept out by good goalkeeping by Bravo. It took the visitors all of half an hour to ask any questions of the home side, and when they did, David De Gea was up to the task. The Spaniards would go into the break having fired a warning shot to the home side, one that rattled off the woodwork. It was the visitors who made a bright start to the second half. However, it was United who had a good chance to make it 2, Phil Jones denied from close range. The clash was opening up and both sides looked to capitalize. However, both outfits were denied that chance by the furniture.
Might kill it off here. Oh, against the post. It's Kagawa.
In the end, the 1 goal proved enough for United, who hung on to remain unbeaten in Group A.
Ordinary. The highly anticipated match delivered on its top billing early as the competition's leading scorer, Cristiano Ronaldo, gave the hosts a 4th-minute advantage. Angel Di Maria's pass set up Ronaldo, who rounded Gianluigi Buffon to net his 56th Champions League goal. Juve responded well and were rewarded for their efforts. A cross from Martin Caceres was met by a completely unmarked Paul Pogba on the far post. His effort was palmed away by Iker Casillas, but Fernando Llorente pounced on the rebound.
The Spanish international scores against the Spanish Giants.
The match was not free of controversy as just 5 minutes later, Real were gifted the opportunity to pull ahead. The assistant referee signalled to referee Manuel Graf that an infringement had taken place and a penalty was awarded. Replay showed Giorgio Chiellini pulling Sergio Ramos to the ground. Ronaldo stepped up to net his 7th goal of the group stage. Real clung to their advantage through to the half-time break and beyond. Their task was made even easier as Chiellini's nightmare continued. The defender was given a straight red card for an arm to the face of Ronaldo, although the Portugal international milked it for all it was worth. Down to 10 men, Juve were forced to defend for large parts of the game. They were aided by some shoddy finishing from the hosts, Karim Benzema the guilty party. When Juve did manage to go forward, it was the pitch that scuppered their efforts.
Who's he looking for a yellow card from, the groundsman?
It was not to be their night, and despite trying valiantly, Real were able to contain them with ease while holding on to their lead. Real Madrid finished 2-1 victors, strengthening their stranglehold.
Welcome back from that long UEFA Champions League stretch. Now we're still focused on Europe, and Crystal Palace have actually parted ways. Or let me say, Ian Holloway, who is the head coach of Crystal Palace, he has actually parted company with the team Crystal Palace. And already the team is lining up Tony Pulis as replacements for Ian Holloway.
After less than a year in charge at Selhurst Park, the 50-year-old guided Palace to the Premier League via the playoffs last season after joining in November and had won only 1 league game this term. A 4-1 defeat by Fulham on Monday left the club 5 points adrift off safety, lying 19th on the Barclays Premier League table with only 1 victory in 8 matches.
Right, let's come back home now. And after that 6-1 dropping of Egypt by the Black Stars of Ghana, there's been a lot of stories that have been upcoming. Now, one player who feels a bit remorseful about what a certain role that he played on the field of play on that day seems to be apologizing, or he has apologized to Ghanaian fans, asking them to forgive him for conceding a penalty. Remember that Egypt were able to score 1 goal, and that resulted from a penalty which was beautifully converted by veteran Mohamed Abu Trika for Egypt. So Rashid Smaila actually has been apologizing to Ghanaians.
That penalty, it wasn't easy for me, but as a professional, I need to psych up myself and my colleagues who were there for me, supporting me. Come on, it will be okay. And I put it back of my mind because I know the game is on, and I put it in my mind I will commit more errors. So I have to put it back and look way forward. And you see, after the penalty, what was going on in the second half, everything went on well, which means I act as a professional. So I thank Almighty God and all Ghanaians who supported me, though in the first half I committed that penalty that shouldn't be happening, and I'll make sure that that will never happen again.
Right, that was Black Stars defender Rashid Smaila. Now, away from him, let's focus on another Ghanaian player who was part of that match, or part of that game where Ghana beat Egypt 6-1 actually. Now, that is Christian Atsu. Christian Atsu is already looking forward to the second leg clash, which as we speak, we don't know whether it's going to be played in Cairo or at a neutral grounds that will be proposed by FIFA. But Christian Atsu has been looking ahead to that game any which way.
I'm not qualified to the World Cup, you know, because if we have qualified, there will not be a return league, you know, to play. And Egypt, they are very dangerous side and very good side too. So we have our last game to play in Egypt. That will determine whether Ghana will qualify for the World Cup. So it is not yet a done deal. For us, we believe that FIFA will make the right decision for us. So we are waiting on the decision of FIFA. Whether we will play there, then we will go with everything, or we will play outside. We don't care wherever we play. We are professionals and we have to act like professionals. So we are all prepared to play in Egypt. Or
Christian Atsu plays for the Black Stars and currently on loan from Chelsea to Vitesse Arnhem. On that note, we would end sports for this afternoon. It's proudly sponsored by Tigo. Smile, you've got Tigo. My name is Rashida Baba.
Welcome back. Ghana has over the years seen quite a few talented rappers entering the music industry. Once in a while, though, there comes along one of a different kind, such as Gemini, a banking and finance graduate who claims to be the fastest rapper in the country.
Usually when there's talk about the fastest rapper in Ghana, Sarkodie's name comes on top. But Gemini, one of rap's hidden talents, claims to be the fastest.
Placed you above because you don't want to love, give you my trust, and never traded what I get is a plus, and never made it a fuzz, and never rated you faded the buzz. No, actually, I don't claim that. You know, I'm just blessed and fortunate that everybody else thinks I'm the fastest. And so, yeah, that's it. I mean, if you think you can step up, let's do it.
Well, it appears he is faster than Fanny Face, who is an actor, comedian turned musician.
Every day I rock like nobody's business. I'm good, I'm gonna I feel like
But how about Sarkodie?
Maybe in Chile or Spain, they call me the G, and my all in.
Well, you be the judge.
Just like boys, and we all like children, but the children like.
Away from Boy Gemini, is an undisputed fact that many Nollywood actors have made Ghana their second home or their preferred holiday destination. One of them, Hanks Enuku, has even gone a step further by relocating to Ghana. Showbiz caught up with him for a chat when he visited the studios of our sister station at Dom FM.
Did it say nowhere? Yeah. Oh boy.
Hanks Anuku is no stranger to fans of movies produced in Nigeria or Nollywood. But for some time now, the tattooed actor, known for his portrayal of gangster characters in movies, has been off the silver screens. It turns out he used the period to harness his music talents. An actor himself, he shares his views on the Ghanaian movie industry.
Ghanaian movies are good. I love Ghanaian movies. Got lots of humor. It makes me laugh a lot. It takes away all the stresses of me. And I think they're going to get places. It's good. I like the pace in which they're rocking the boat.
It may come as a surprise to many, but Hanks is part of the growing list of Nollywood actors who appear to have been converted. In February this year, he visited Prophet T.B. Joshua's Synagogue of All Nations, where he was delivered from drug use and alcoholism, an issue he said at the time had disturbed his mental stability. Hanks says prayer is now a part of his daily routine.
Well, most times is praying, actually. I love praying a lot, you know, and that's the only way I feel comfortable and confident that I'm under the shadow of the Almighty, where nothing can harm me.
Hanks Anuku, who is already engaged in some movie production here in Ghana, says his fans should expect a lot more from him.
Right. This is News Today. Look at our headlines again. Acting National Coordinator of the Computer School Selection Placement System indicates no secondary school head has the right to deny admission to legally placed students. Survey reports only 1.9% of economically active population is unemployed in Ghana. African Union sharply condemns attempts to undermine peace, stability and development in Mozambique. Grateful for your company. My name is Kimini Nyamani. Amana. Goodbye for now.